Welcome back, you guys, to The Angle Perspectives of Toronto Real Estate. My name is Amy Youngren. I'm the founder of North Group Real Estate, and I'm joined today by a very special guest, Farah Dhalla-Singh. She is the founder and owner of ALT Home Staging and Interior Design. Thanks for being here, Farah.
Thank you so much for having me, Amy.
Absolutely. I'm excited to have this conversation because I am obsessed with style. I'm obsessed with design. So I can't wait to hear your perspective. So, on that note, from your area of the industry, from home staging and interior design, what are you seeing that's happening in the Toronto real estate market right now?
It's a great question because from our perspective in the staging industry, the Toronto real estate market is currently experiencing a high level of activity. There's a demand for well-presented homes. And also, we're seeing shorter days on market and an increase in bidding wars. Overall, there's more sales. So those are all key indicators of a robust demand for homes, especially when they're well presented. I'd like to use an example of a home that we currently staged in Oakville just last week. Amy, get this. This house was listed for 2,498,000. And in 3 days, this house sold for over 2.6, resulting in 192,000 over asking in 3 days.
Wow, impressive. And you
Yeah.
were and that is a home that you staged. And do you think that an aspect of that a higher achievement in price is attributed to how the home appeared when it was put on the market?
1,000%. There's definitely stats that show a well-presented home that's priced fairly on market will do better in terms of its sale and shorten its days on market. We have stats to prove that. This house was well maintained from the curb appeal to the inside. So when you are looking to achieve maximum value on your home, you do have to take that extra initiative to ensure that it's presented well, but also priced correctly. And I think having those two side by side ultimately leads to the results that we're seeing this year.
The perfect combination.
Yes.
On average, is there a percentage that a seller could expect if they chose to stage their property versus not?
Yes, we have stats that say sellers can expect to achieve quite substantially higher if they stage their homes compared to if they don't. So this is data according to the National Association of Realtors. Staged homes sell 73% faster on average than non-staged homes. And additionally, staged homes typically sell for 10 to 20% more than a non-staged home.
Wow.
The Real Estate Association found that 90% of staged homes sell within 1 month or less after being listed. So clearly, these statistics indicate that staging does increase the likelihood of selling a home quickly and for a higher price.
So if I was thinking about putting my property on the market and I was considering to sell right now, what would be some of the recommended outside of staging? Because I know that as an interior designer and as a stager, you often can go into properties and you're going to make other recommendations that are just not attributed to the staging element of it.
Yes.
So, what would be some of your top recommendations for improvements if somebody was planning to list?
So my top recommendation would be updating key areas, focusing on high impact areas like the kitchen and the bathrooms. We'll go in during a consultation and we'll make suggestions to do minor updates, like a fresh coat of paint goes a long way. It's a minor expense with a big return in investment. We'll also make suggestions on new hardware and updated light fixtures. That too can make a big difference when it comes to minor repairs to enhance the marketability of one's home.
And you can do all of those things affordably, like you're saying.
Absolutely. A lot of the times we're sourcing from suppliers like Amazon and
Yeah.
Home Depot, and even just replacing those builder lights that often go unnoticed by homeowners because they've seen them, they've been living in the house for 15 years, going unnoticed. But if you update, let's just say the laundry room light fixture from the builder light fixture that was installed at the time of purchase to a $100 or $200 newer light fixture that's a semi-flush mount on Amazon, that would add tremendous value to that room and the overall appeal of the house.
So you're talking a lot about, which I love, about like certain finish or feature changes that could be made. What would be your first recommendation on rooms that should be improved? What would you say?
I would say declutter and depersonalize.
Okay.
There is a huge difference between staging and interior design. I like to think of staging as marketing. We're marketing the home to appeal to as many buyers as possible. So, what you would want is for a buyer to walk into your home and already start to visualize themselves living in the space. But it's very difficult to do that if they have pictures of your wedding or your family's vacation. Then it starts to feel like they're walking through somebody else's home. So decluttering and depersonalize, clearing out excess belongings, removing personal items to create a clean and neutral canvas really allows buyers to envision themselves living in the space.
This aspect of the conversation is talking to sellers, because you're talking about, maybe it's your primary residence, maybe it's somewhere where you raised your children. There's a lot of memories, there's a lot of emotion attached to it. But what we always talk about in real estate is that when you're with a seller, even though it's difficult, you have to detach emotion, and you have to detach emotion so that the buyer can attach emotion when they walk in. And I think a big piece of that is exactly what you said. It's the depersonalization. The decluttering obviously gives them the visual, like, okay, I could see my belongings in here. I could see living here. But the detachment of emotion is such a critical piece when you are in the listing preparation process.
That's a key point that you made, Amy. And I do hope that realtors who are listening are really driving that point home when they're speaking to their sellers, because the second the seller starts dictating how the home should look according to their taste, that's a huge red flag for us, because we then go to explain why we do these techniques that neutralize the space. It's not a personal choice on whether or not I love this color sofa that you brought. I, in fact, love dark, deep colors personally. But when we stage, we want that neutral color palette so that, one, the house looks bigger, brighter, cleaner, more inviting, but also a neutral palette will allow more buyers to envision themselves utilizing the space, more showings, hopefully leading to more offers, and then a sale.
So if I was a homeowner, I'm thinking about selling this year, what are some of the design style and trends that you're seeing? Or if I'm planning to buy a new home, what are some of the things that I should be keeping an eye on?
So going back to it being completely different interior design and staging. So I'll answer
Right.
the first part of that question. It's crucial to differentiate the two. In staging, we're focused on marketing to potential buyers. So trends really aren't our primary consideration.
Okay.
Instead, staging decisions are based on factors like what type of home are we in? And who's the target demographic that we're marketing to? What neighborhood are we in? For example, a newly built home located in a family-oriented neighborhood, we would typically opt for neutral color palette, minimalistic modern aesthetics, and elements that accommodate a young, active family lifestyle. Conversely, a more traditional home situated in a well-established area, we would utilize also a neutral color palette, but we would introduce traditional elements to resonate with an older demographic.
Okay.
So trends really don't play a big part when it comes to staging. It
Right.
more is about marketing to the ideal buyer to ensure a successful sale. However, if we are talking about interior design, which is something that I know you're severely passionate about, and so are we, we're
Well,
seeing.
and I think that probably a lot of consumers that are listening would just be interested to know from your perspective, because you do have a whole arm of your business focused on interior design. So if I wasn't thinking about moving at all, I'm not planning to sell, I'm not planning to buy, what if I wanted to improve or trend up my property, my home, what would you suggest?
So 5 years ago, 6, 7 years ago, we saw a lot of the chromes, the metallics, the bold silvers. That used to be a big trend. Now we're moving towards more of a neutral palette, but also earthy tones. So you're seeing a lot of wood elements incorporated into interior design, which to me is far more warmer than some of the more glam aesthetics that we were seeing 5, 6, 7 years ago. I'm in love with this trend right now. It's bohemian, you could call it. It's very spa-like. Scandinavian is another word for it, where we're bringing a lot of natural elements from the outside indoors. I
Okay.
love that green plant that's behind you, for instance. That would be an ideal element to include in today's trend, using green foliage, using lots of wood elements, and then just soft linens to tie it all together.
Okay, I love that. Is there a trend that you think is popular right now, but will likely not last more than, it's like fashion. There's some fashion trends that you can take advantage of, and they will probably stand the course of time and be able to maintain in your wardrobe. But then there's others who are like you just know you're like, okay, this is not going to last. This is going to be for this season, and that's it. Is there anything that interesting that you're finding that's trending right now, but you don't think is going to have longevity?
It's funny how you create a lot of comparisons to fashion, because I do that too. All of us, when we have our wardrobe, we have our staples, right? We have our neutral bodysuits, our neutral pants, and then here and there we'll tie in like maybe a colorful blouse.
Right.
So what we're seeing ongoing right now is this resurgence of like over personalization, lots of decor items to accessorize a dining table, a console table, a bookshelf. However, I don't see that trend lasting very long. I think it's more of a limited appeal. Basically, from my perspective, what we're seeing is if you're purchasing a expensive item like a sofa, opt
Mm.
out in buying that sofa in like a cognac color or a bold color. Do it in a neutral color, and then add in your accessories in the pillows, because that can be switched out, and it
And
doesn't
it can
break
be
the
switched
bank.
out affordably.
Exactly.
Mhm.
But stick to the solids and more of a neutral palette, just like you would in your wardrobe, excuse me, just as you would in your wardrobe,
Yeah.
to ensure that you're buying pieces that are timeless.
I think that's a really good point. I know somebody who bought because dark green, hunter green is such a trending tone right now, and they bought a statement piece of furniture in that. And I thought to myself, I was like, I wonder how long that's going to last.
Right.
Decorate around with the hunter green, paint a wall, or like you said, buy a throw pillows or things like that, accent pieces. But a statement piece like a couch, I was surprised because it'll likely move through the trends quickly.
It most certainly will. It's a beautiful color and it's
Oh
very
yeah.
popular right now. I
Mhm.
love it. But to have a big piece like that in the room would most likely need to be reupholstered. I hate to say it, but give it 5 years.
Right. We appreciate your feedback. Thank you so much, Farah, for joining us today. This has been really informative and fun. We really appreciate your perspective and the market and your area of industry.
It's been so nice getting to know you, Amy. I can see why people sing your praises.
Oh,
You
you're
are sincerely one of the warmest, kindest people that I've met. And I just want you to know I'm a big fan.
Oh, that's so kind of you. Thank you. I really appreciate that. We definitely have to take some time to, find a pocket when we can get together or like just connect a little bit more for sure.
Anything we could do here at ALT to help you, just name it. And it's
Okay. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Do you have a busy rest of your day? Thank you so much for doing this, by the way. I'm really grateful.
I'm
Do you,
honored that you would even ask.
yeah, of course. Do you
Um,
have a busy rest of your day?
I'm heading off to City Line
Oh,
to
wow.
set up a segment that we'll be shooting tomorrow in regards to how to maximize a small space.
Okay. Very cool. That's
So
awesome.
it's an exciting day. I got to speak to you in the morning and then heading downtown to set up for that. So it's a
That's
good.
awesome. That's awesome. Well, good luck with it. I hope you have an amazing rest of your day.
You as well, Amy. Thanks again.
Of course. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.